Hello there, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, the internet, and the like, and welcome back to Team Fortress 2. Today, going to be playing as the Spy. Now, there is something that I didn't expect I would ever say on this channel, and you know why? Because Spy is my least played class, next to Pyro. I've never really found the interest in actually playing Spy for a long time, but recently I was requested to play it by Coco Snooty, who also told me that I should use the Diamondback. The Diamondback is an unlockable revolver, or a craftable one if you want to get technical, for, obviously, the Spy. And it used to be utter crap. To explain that, the Diamondback used to function on basically how many engineers there were on the other team. The way it worked was that you had to sap an engineer's building to get one guaranteed crit stored in your revolver. And on paper, this sounds pretty good, but in reality, it was way too situational to benefit from. And then they decided to actually buff this weapon, and in turn, it's pretty good actually. The way it works now is that every time you get a backstab, and they still kept the feature of having to sap an engineer's building to get a guaranteed crit, but that's not the point here. Every time you get a backstab, you also get a guaranteed crit stored in this revolver. Comparing this thing back to back with the Ambassador, it's true that both deal the same amount of damage, but while the Ambi can headshot for guaranteed crit and otherwise does not crit at all, the Diamondback will get crits for backstabs and saps, and this is pretty good. In fact, the Diamondback assists spies who are having difficulty landing headshots with the Ambi to begin with. In my personal opinion, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to cut myself off right here. Watch this Spy. So we get into a brief little skirmish right there, and I managed to backstab this heavy who thankfully didn't see me. Watch what happens right here. I'm genuinely surprised that that Spy did not even try to use his revolver in that situation, because in fact I was actually trying to be nice with him at some point, but then he decided to try and stick a knife in me, and yeah, I'd say he had that coming. But anyways, back to my personal opinion of the Diamondback. My diagnosis? I'd say that this is a pretty good side grade, but unfortunately, it suffers from the wide pistol spread for consistent shots. Unlike the Frontier Justice for the Engineer, the Diamondback requires very careful aim and patience with firing. When you compare it back to back with the Ambassador, given the reward of the guaranteed crits, I find that there's a lot of pressure being built for just having these stored all together. Whereas with the Ambassador, crits on the headshots without having to take like the extra measures to backstab or sap and engineer buildings, I find that weapon is actually much more superior. As for my recommendation, I would actually suggest that beginner spies use this item, and you know why? Because the crits offer a nice layer of protection. As long as you just sharpen your aim with a revolver, then you should be fairly okay, and after you use the Diamondback for a while, if you're used to shooting people in the general chest area, then I would recommend that you switch over to the Ambassador if you would prefer a more sniping method. Now, back to the gameplay right here. As I mentioned earlier, I pretty much never play Spy, and as you can imagine, that would probably lead to some pretty bad situations where I would just do terribly. But the sad thing is, I never really die in this life, and I call that sad because I was playing against a lot of people who, to put it lightly, didn't quite have full experience with this game. A lot of them didn't seem to know how to spy check that often, and that was pretty unfortunate because a challenge is always nice whenever you play this game. And like I said, since I'm not a very good spy, and putting me in a server with a bunch of people who didn't quite get the gist of how this game worked, then that could lead to just a little bit of bullying, in my opinion. I didn't really feel as though I actually deserved a lot of these kills, and it's just, I don't know, but you know what, at the same time, everyone does have to have their good days whenever they play a certain class. And as I said before, I was very hesitant to actually play Spy, but once I actually had a pretty good gameplay, a pretty decent gameplay going on, once I actually had that experience, I kind of feel a little more open to playing this class. It's kind of like trying a new food. Like, this is kind of a bad example, but a long time ago, I used to be very hesitant, very reluctant to actually try and eat pizza. And that may sound very alien to you, because pizza is like a gift of the gods. It is just an amazing food. Let's talk about pizza right now. You want to talk about pizza? I want to talk about pizza. I love pizza. Pizza is amazing. But that's not the point here. I'm just rambling right now, but pizza, I used to absolutely just not want to try it whatsoever. But again, once I tried it and actually got into it, I found a certain new passion for it. And I guess the same could be said for the spy. And just about any other class. I mean, I might have to warm up just a little bit more to pyro, haha, get it, warm up, fire, you get, yeah. I might have to warm up just a little bit more to actually motivate myself to play pyro more often, and I suppose the same could be said for the spy, except for the fact that I already feel a little more motivated now that I had this experience. And pretty much just having basic experience with every class of the game, I think is very important, so I guess I could say that maybe I'll try playing Spy just a little more often in the future. I wouldn't say that I'd play it 24/7, but I'll definitely give him another shot, so thank you very much Coco Snooty for suggesting that I use the Diamondback, and I think that's just about going to end the gameplay off right here, so thank you guys very much for watching. Not really sure how I managed to top score right here, but have a great day and evening, and I guess I will see you in the next video.